Here's your daily reminder that the Democrat Party and both corporations think black people and brown people are too stupid or too helpless to have a photo ID to vote. Hello once again, all my fellow patriots and you filthy leftist stalkers out there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela Box. You're watching Angela's Soapbox, where I always say what you were thinking. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, liking or rumbling this video, commenting on this video, and of course sharing this video, especially with your filthy leftist friends because they truly hate my guts. And for me, that's a badge of honor, as per always. Okay. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Let us all give the sea turtle killing plastic straw today to the rampant race hustling grifters, affectionately known around here as BM. You may know them as Black Lives Matter or BLM. They're having some problems, you guys. Let's discuss. Okay, so this is so delicious. The worm has turned. The worm has turned in a major way. Black Lives Matter has finally and will continue to be exposed. Well, I don't think they've really been totally exposed yet, but it's coming. They have been exposed somewhat as a grifting organization that has basically raised money on the tragedies of people who got killed by police officers, and then of course they use that to their advantage, saying that it's white people everywhere trying to make black people's lives a living hell, and Jasmine Crockett's out there trying to out ghetto everyone, saying 80% of all the violent crime is done by white supremacists. It's like, heifer, you are so dumb. You are so dumb. Actually, it's more like 3% of the population, which is black males, account for about 47% of the crime. So where'd you get that little bit of piece of misinformation? And of course, the media won't call her out on. The media won't fact check Jasmine Crockett because you can't fact check a black lady. But anyway, I digress. Black Lives Matter. Never forget how they started. We had Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman. It was a stand your ground case in Florida. That man's life's been a living hell ever since, I'm sure. Trayvon Martin was not just a deer in the woods. He was quite the little thug, and that case started, I think, the rumblings of BM. And then, of course, in Ferguson, Missouri, there was a case of Michael Brown, the 300-pound, 6'4", massive young man who robbed a convenience store, and then when he was told to stop by the police officer, he kept charging at the police officer and then tried to grab his gun and shoot him. And even though there were witnesses, black witnesses, I might add, who were like, that police officer didn't do anything, and Michael Brown charged the cop and tried to grab his gun. Then, of course, Michael Brown dies because the cop had no choice but to shoot him. And that's when the whole hands up, don't shoot lie came about. So BM started grifting on that. They're like, oh, this will be good. And then, of course, there was a good few, some riots out of that and some billions of dollars of property damage. But really, BM came into its own in 2020, which... Never forget that there were many agendas going on in 2020. The number one overarching all agenda was to do what? Say it with me, boys and girls, get rid of Donald Trump. That's what that's everything we dealt with COVID. That's everything we dealt with BM. All of it was to get rid of one guy. So, of course, during the summer of love of 2020, there was a wonderful young man just minding his own business by the name of George Floyd. George Floyd's walking down the street one day, and this white cop named Derek Chauvin just said, well, there's a black man. I think I'm going to step on his neck and strangle him and put him in a chokehold to make sure he dies. And, for good measure, I'm going to smirk into a camera because he's black. That whole nonsense. Of course, that's a lie. George Floyd did not die of Derek Chauvin smirking into a camera and putting his knee on his neck. He, in fact, died of cardiac arrest caused by a drug overdose. Fentanyl, meth, weed, not weed, that's not going to kill you, but fentanyl and the meth, that'll kill you. And, of course, there were no life-threatening injuries given to one George Floyd, but that did not matter because they needed their pound of flesh and they needed to make sure that Derek Chauvin went away for the rest of his life, which he is, and that man needs to be pardoned because right is right and fair is fair. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole we could go down. So BM got the gang together, and they're like, we can raise like hundreds of millions of dollars off this, off these tragedies and off these lies that white police officers are just going around willy-nilly shooting black men. Because, you know, that's what they do. I'm telling you, yeah, white cops, they just get up in the morning. They're like, they have their meetings with the other cops, and the captain or the sergeant or whoever's like, listen, guys, whatever you do today, make sure to go out and kill a couple black people because, you know, white supremacy. So absurd, so stupid, just again, does not take into account that 3% of the population is responsible for about 47% of the violent crime in this country. And that's a whole, let's just go down that rabbit hole real quick, because there are many convergences here. So when we talk about why did a grifting sack of garbage organization like BM even get a foothold to begin with, it's because the media, it's because the entertainment industry, it's because sports, it's because the education system has basically said that whitey's out to get black people. And instead of like looking in the internals of what's happened in the black community, like the cradle to grave welfare system they've got in many black communities, or the fact that there's no fathers in the homes in many black communities, or the fact that thug culture and hoe culture and rap culture is celebrated and pedestaled in the black community to some extent. I mean, and that couldn't have anything to do with why you continue to tread water, could it? No, of course not. The Democrat Party, and I've said this in a zillion videos, and I'll continue to say it, is the number one reason that black people are where they are right now. And it's not because of whitey. Well, it's because of white Democrats, let's say. White Democrats who created the KKK, white Democrats who were behind Jim Crow laws and behind slavery, never forget, and also Planned Parenthood, because, you know, white liberals love killing them some black babies in the womb. So, look, BM raised, what, $200 million, something grotesque and obscene. And they come to find out, Candace Owens and other intrepid reporters track these people's homes down, Patrice Cullors and Sean King and other deadbeat dirtbags of BM. And they're like, how come you can afford like a $4 million house and another $4 million and all these, you know, all the grift that they all do, okay? Not one single dollar went to the black community or to black schools or to maybe say, hey, maybe we should talk about school choice. And people like the garden gnome obvious lesbian, let's put it this way, the garden gnome lesbian by default, because she can't ever get a man. Randy Weingarten, the head of the teachers unions, the AFT, she said the other day, she said the quiet part out loud. She's like, well, we can't have the Department of Education shut down because why, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, because school choice would become more popular. Where would school choice become more popular? Would it be like in the rich white areas, or could it possibly be in the black community? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and that's where they have the stranglehold on them, isn't it? Of course. That's where they get them and teach them that whitey is out to get them in the public schools, in the entertainment culture, in the sports culture, in the thug culture, in the rap culture, and yada yada yada. Now, back to why Black Lives Matter is getting the sea turtle killing plastic straw. I'm sure you've seen. There was a grotesque mural that was like 2 blocks long in Washington, D.C. and it was called Black Lives Matter Plaza. And the words Black Lives Matter were written in yellow, huge citywide blocks, 2 blocks long in Washington, D.C., right down the street from the Capitol building. And President Trump basically told Muriel Bowser, the dirtbag mayor of D.C., who we'll never forget, along with Nancy Pelosi, refused any National Guard help on January 6th, and I'm pretty sure we're going to find out all about that pretty soon, too. But he said to Muriel Bowser, listen, sis, you're not getting any funding, like, unless you clean this up. This racist, ridiculous trope that has just done nothing but divide and divide and divide. And, you know, I would be perfectly fine with them putting all lives matter, like, erase the black part, but all lives matter. Do you think that the meltdown that you would hear that they're doing now would be 10 times worse? Of course it would, because they can't say that all lives matter, because that's against their little, political strategy. So anyway, I think it's great. I think it's fantastic that people like Patrice Cullors are getting busted. I think it's fantastic that grifting organizations like BM are finally being exposed for the scum that they are. And, you know, never forget, BLM inspired the guy that killed about 7 police officers in Dallas a few years ago. I remember I had a video struck from YouTube from that. That was one of my many strikes from YouTube. One of the many times I got deplatformed from YouTube because I had the temerity to point out that the acolyte of Black Lives Matter went out and shot 7 cops. These people, again, these people who went out and would say, you know, kill all the pigs, or, you know, only good cop's a dead cop, defund the police, all the things that they push. And then, of course, the real world consequences of that, which is crime out of control in blue areas. This is all coming home to roost, and it's going to be really quite astonishing to watch what happens when Trump, you know, puts the kibosh on any funding to any school that is pushing this crap, or any city that's pushing this crap. And we'll see how quick they start stepping to, and we're going to see how quickly things get cleaned up when we get back to normsies. By normsies, I mean treating everybody by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And I deeply hope that the Black community, and I've said this a million times too, I really hope they start figuring out who their masters truly have been. It is the Democrat Party, and it's time to get off that plantation once and for all. All right, that's where I'm going to leave this video. Let me know what you think down below, and I will see you in the next one. I will be done. Bye.